along. This is the explanation of Rav Wolbe of why we have the Shabbat coinciding with the Mishkan so many times in our Torah. And Rav Wolbe has a very powerful explanation. He says Rav Wolbe was the mashkiach of the mir. And what does he say? He says as follows. He says, I don't understand. He says, it's difficult to understand why Bnei Israel would have even thought that they could build a Mishkan on Shabbat. Who would have thought that? You don't find that the Torah tells us, even though there's a mitzvah to write a Sefer Torah, you don't see anywhere that it says, don't write the Torah on Shabbos. Why does the Torah have to say, don't do this on Shabbos? And furthermore, we know that if the Torah wants us to do something to override the Shabbos, it would have a special verse. So why do we have to have this commandment? So Rav Wolbe takes a completely different approach than Rabbi Soloveitchik, and he says that in the Parshas Vayakal is preceded by the sin of the golden calf. Ramban says that they made this sin of the golden calf because they made a mistake. That after Moshe didn't return, they panicked and said, who's going to be our guide and connect us with Hashem? And so out of fear, they made the golden calf, i.e. their intentions were very noble, but that did not justify their actions. So the golden calf comes from a place where our intentions were noble, our ancestors' intentions were noble, but it doesn't matter. The fact that their intentions were good does not justify the sin that they created. Good intent is not sufficient. This is called mitzvah haba ba'avera, a mitzvah that comes as a result of a sin. So the Torah now, says Rav Wolbe, coming on the heels of the golden calf, is telling us, don't make the same mistake. Don't say, well, we have to build the Mishkan, we have to build the temple, we're going to do this mitzvah, and so what? We'll violate a sin. We'll do it on Shabbos. Big deal. Our responsibility is to build the Mishkan. Don't do it, says the Torah. That's a mitzvah through a sin. And a mitzvah haba ba'avera is not a mitzvah. It's not a mitzvah. Fundamentally, it's not a mitzvah. So, for example, Rav Wolbe cites Rav Yisrael Salanter. He says sometimes there'll be, and now, by the way, we've all experienced this in our life. I'm sure of it. We've been on both ends of this this. This has happened to us, and I'm sure we've all been guilty of doing it. But he gives an example in which a great rabbi comes to town to give a speech about how we can improve ourselves and become better spiritually. And everybody's rushing to the speech, and then on the way to the speech, one of the people gets knocked over by somebody rushing to the speech. So basically, they're running to the mitzvah, but they want to improve spiritually, but at what cost? They literally ran over another person. Talking to myself, wanting you listen, what if on our way to shul or on our way to hear a shir, we cut off somebody else in the car? Maybe it's happened to somebody here. And so he gives another example that modern day application is you're going to you want to come to the prayers on time, and to get there, you double park, which is very annoying and rude to everybody else. Now it makes the traffic more difficult, and the person who you blocked can't leave. So he says this is an example of a mitzvah coming about through a sin. He gives another example that when you put your talis on in the morning at your prayers, you're supposed to throw the talis around your face. And so sometime a guy took the talis, he threw it around, and the strings hit the person behind him. They hit him in the face. So we can't come closer to God through a sin. That's called the mitzvah ba'avera. That's what the Torah is teaching us again and again and again. Don't do one sin in the effort to do a mitzvah, even if we think that that mitzvah is greater. Now, obviously, sometimes this, in the abstract, it's very easy to teach this, but in the practical, it's very, very difficult because we have competing values and we have to do the best we can. But that's the point that Rav Wolbe makes. Don't do something good by doing something bad to do it. That's his message. All right, I'll just pause here. I don't know if anybody has any comments on it. Otherwise, we'll go on.